During my son's engagement party at our lake house, his fiancée cornered me on the back deck while fireworks lit up the Tennessee sky. She held a champagne flute like a weapon and whispered with a smile that never reached her eyes. Transfer $1.5 million to my account by Wednesday, or I'll tell everyone here that you touched me inappropriately in your office last month. I have bruises photographed. I have a therapist's note. Your son will never speak to you again. I slowly reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a small device. When I pressed play, her scream cut through the celebration like a knife through silk. The party ended in 20 minutes. But I should start from the beginning. The call came on a Thursday afternoon in April. I was reviewing blueprints for a new shopping center development when my phone buzzed with Tyler's name. My son rarely called during work hours. At 29, he was establishing himself as an architect at a respected firm downtown, keeping regular hours and staying focused on his career. This was unusual. "Dad, are you free Saturday? I need you to meet someone important. Her name is Vanessa. We met 3 months ago at a charity run for children's hospitals. Dad, she's incredible. I think she might be the one." My pen stopped mid-signature. 3 months wasn't long, but Tyler had always been thoughtful and cautious. If he wanted me to meet her, it meant something significant. His mother, Linda, had passed away 4 years ago from a sudden heart attack. Since then, I'd watched my son navigate grief while building his career, always careful with his heart. This enthusiasm was both wonderful and concerning. "Of course, son. Come by the house around 6. I'll fire up the grill." After hanging up, I leaned back in my chair and looked out at the Nashville skyline. I'd built Callahan Construction from nothing over 35 years, turning it into one of the largest commercial contractors in Middle Tennessee. Reading people was how I survived in business. Something about Tyler's voice, that desperate hope, made me want to know more about this woman before Saturday arrived. They showed up exactly at 6. Tyler bounded through the door with nervous energy, straightening his collar twice before introducing her. The woman beside him moved with practiced grace, her designer sundress probably costing more than most people's car payments. Dark hair cascaded past her shoulders in perfect waves. Her handshake was firm, calculated, and her smile stayed frozen in place just a beat too long. "Mr. Callahan, Tyler has told me so much about you. This property is absolutely stunning. How many acres do you have here?" Her eyes didn't admire. They appraised. She moved through my living room like a real estate assessor, pausing at the stone fireplace, the antique grandfather clock that had belonged to my father, the framed photograph of Linda and me on our 30th anniversary. Before I could offer a tour, she was photographing everything with her phone. "Vanessa is really into interior design," Tyler said quickly. "She's a wellness consultant and life coach. Has her own business with clients all over the Southeast." "How impressive," I said, leading them toward the back patio where steaks were waiting. "That sounds like quite an operation." During dinner, I learned that Vanessa claimed to run a holistic wellness company. She mentioned corporate retreats, executive coaching, partnerships with luxury spas in Asheville and Savannah. Tyler hung on every word, barely touching his ribeye. But I'd spent decades negotiating with contractors, bankers, and developers. Something about her performance felt rehearsed, too polished, too perfect. Then the questions started. "Tyler mentioned you built this company from the ground up," she said, cutting her asparagus with surgical precision. "Commercial construction must be quite profitable, especially with Nashville's growth. It has its seasons, good years, and challenging ones." She smiled. "But you must do well. This neighborhood, Belle Meade, isn't exactly affordable." And Tyler showed me photos of your cabin in Gatlinburg. "Just a weekend getaway," Tyler interjected, looking uncomfortable. "Still," she continued, reaching over to touch Tyler's hand, "it shows what hard work can build. Family security is so important when you're thinking about the future. Tyler and I have been discussing starting a family soon. Having a solid foundation matters, don't you think?" The implication hung in the humid evening air. I took a slow sip of bourbon, choosing my words carefully. Building security takes time. Tyler's doing well in his career. He's on his way. Of course. But family supports family. Her eyes locked onto mine. That's what makes successful families different. They invest in each other's futures. Tyler shifted in his seat. We're figuring things out, Dad. Taking it one step at a time. But Vanessa wasn't finished. She mentioned her student loans, then casually wondered about estate planning. She complimented the bourbon and asked about the vintage truck collection in my garage. She praised Tyler's ambition and then noted how expensive childcare was in good school districts. Every question was a probe. Every compliment was bait. When they finally left around 10, Vanessa hugged me at the door, leaning in close. Thank you for being so welcoming. Tyler is lucky to have such a generous father. I'm sure we'll be seeing much more of each other. Tyler's goodbye was distracted, eager to leave. I watched their taillights disappear down the driveway, Vanessa already on her phone before they reached the gate. I spent Sunday morning unable to focus on anything. Every detail from dinner replayed in my mind. The way she photographed my home without asking. The pointed questions about money and property. Tyler's discomfort. His silence during her financial interrogations. It felt wrong. Familiar. Like recognizing a hustle I'd seen variations of throughout my years in business. By Monday afternoon, I'd made a decision. I called Marcus Williams, a friend who ran a private investigation firm. We'd known each other for 20 years through various business networks and charity boards. Marcus, I need a favor. Unofficial. It's about my son's girlfriend. He didn't ask why. Send me her information. The call came Wednesday morning. Robert, this is completely off the record. Understood? Understood. Vanessa Moore. Real name is Vanessa Mitchell. Changed legally 5 years ago after a bankruptcy filing in Florida. Currently has an address in Green Hills, but she was evicted from a luxury apartment in the Gulch 8 months ago. Rent was $4,500 a month. She has $78,000 in credit card debt spread across 11 cards, all maxed out. 4 collection agencies have active judgments against her. My hand tightened around the phone. $78,000, Marcus continued. There's more. Her wellness business? It's registered but has no actual clients. No tax filings showing income for 3 years. The corporate retreats, the spa partnerships, all fabricated. She buys followers and engagement on social media. The luxury lifestyle is smoke and mirrors financed by credit cards and whoever she's dating. I sat frozen in my office after hanging up. $78,000 in debt, evicted, 4 lawsuits. But online, she projected success and abundance. The talk of starting a family, the questions about my assets, the expensive tastes she couldn't possibly afford. She wasn't falling in love with Tyler. She was positioning herself to access what she thought he had, or more precisely, what she knew I had. I called Tyler that evening after he got home from work. Son, we need to talk about Vanessa. I had someone look into her financial background. There are some serious red flags. What? His voice sharpened immediately. What are you talking about? Tyler, she has nearly $80,000 in debt. She was evicted. Collection agencies are suing her. The wellness business doesn't exist. The lifestyle isn't real. You investigated her? The explosion came through the phone like a physical blow. You had someone spy on my girlfriend? Dad, what is wrong with you? Listen to me. These are facts. She has 11 credit cards maxed out. She was evicted for non-payment. This is a serious pattern of financial problems. And with the way she was asking questions at dinner, how dare you? His voice cracked with hurt and fury. I'm 29 years old. I don't need you investigating the people I date like I'm some child who can't make decisions. I'm trying to protect you. This is a pattern of behavior. She's targeting men who have. You can't stand seeing me happy. You never could. After Mom died, you buried yourself in work. Now you can't handle me building a life without you controlling everything. That's not true. Tyler, please just look at the evidence. She was paying rent she couldn't afford. She's buried in debt. She's hiding who she really is. You're trying to ruin this because you're lonely and miserable. His words felt like knives. I should have known you'd find something wrong with anyone I cared about. Just like you did with Rachel. Just like you did with Megan. Those relationships had real problems. And you know it. No, Dad. The problem is you. Don't contact me again. The line went dead. I sat holding the phone in the silence of my empty house. Outside, the April evening was turning dark. I opened Vanessa's Instagram on my laptop. Every photo showed luxury. Designer handbags, expensive restaurants, spa retreats, jewelry. Nothing matched a reality of evictions and debt. I opened a notepad and began writing everything I knew. The debt amounts, the eviction dates, the timeline of her relationship with Tyler, every pointed question from dinner. When I finished, 3 pages were covered with notes. Tyler wouldn't listen. That was clear, which meant I had maybe 6 weeks before whatever came next. I had to find proof that she was targeting him. I had to stop this before it destroyed my son. 2 weeks of silence followed. 14 days where every call to Tyler went to voicemail. Every text went unanswered. I drove by his apartment twice and saw Vanessa's white Range Rover in his spot both times, as if she'd moved in. Then Marcus called again, his voice tight with concern. Robert, Tyler just withdrew $60,000 from his investment account, all his savings. He also applied for a personal loan of $40,000 at 14% interest. The bank approved it yesterday. My stomach dropped. $100,000. Tyler's entire financial cushion gone. But that's not all, Marcus continued. I found something else. Vanessa registered an LLC in Wyoming 3 weeks ago. The company is called VM Wellness Ventures. Tyler's name isn't on it. She's the sole owner. What's the supposed business? According to the filing, wellness consulting and retreat planning. But Robert, there's a bank account connected to it in the Bahamas, set up the same week she registered the LLC. I thanked Marcus and stared at my computer screen. Offshore account, sole ownership despite Tyler probably funding everything. This was extraction, not partnership. She was preparing to disappear with his money. The engagement announcement appeared on Facebook that Thursday. Photos of Vanessa with a diamond ring that had to cost $20,000 minimum. Tyler smiling beside her at a rooftop restaurant. The caption read, "He asked and I said yes. So excited to start this journey with my soulmate. Wedding planning begins." Over 500 likes. Dozens of congratulations, comments. I tried calling Tyler, voicemail. I tried texting, no response. I wrote an email, subject line, "Son, please read this." It bounced back. He'd blocked my email. On Friday, a formal invitation arrived by mail. Thick cardstock with embossed gold lettering. Callahan Moore Engagement Celebration. Lake House, May 22nd at 6 p.m. Ceremony to follow next month. I researched catering companies for lake events in our area. The one listed started at $12,000 for a party of this size. Premium packages ran much higher. Tyler was drowning, and Vanessa was adding weights to his pockets. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Robert, it's Vanessa. We should talk before the party. It's important for Tyler's happiness. Can we meet privately?" I stared at the message for 5 minutes. She was making a move, but toward what? Every instinct I'd honed over 40 years in business screamed that this was a negotiation, not a peace offering. I replied, "When and where?" Her response came instantly. "Your office, tomorrow at 5. Tyler thinks I'm at a client meeting." The next morning, I drove to an electronics store in Franklin. A young clerk showed me a recording device the size of a car key fob. This model has 40 hours of battery life, voice activation, and clear audio up to 25 feet. Is it legal in Tennessee? Absolutely. One-party consent state. As long as you're part of the conversation, you can record without telling the other party. I bought it immediately. In my truck, I practiced activating it. A small button on the side, a brief blue light, then nothing. I recorded myself reading a contract aloud and played it back. Perfect clarity. Vanessa arrived at my office at 5, sharp, wearing designer jeans and a cashmere sweater. She looked softer, younger, deliberately vulnerable. I activated the recorder in my jacket pocket before letting her in. The blue light blinked once. "Robert, thank you for seeing me." Her smile was apologetic. "I know things got tense. This isn't how I wanted us to start as a family." I gestured toward the chair across from my desk. "What did you want to discuss?" She settled in, accepting a bottle of water, her expression turning earnest. Tyler has been stressed. This distance between you two is breaking his heart. I wanted to see if we could mend things before the engagement party. I appreciate that. I kept my voice neutral. Tyler matters more than any disagreement. She nodded, relief flooding her face. I'm so glad you understand. Her pause was calculated. There is one thing. Tyler has been worried about money. The wedding is costing more than we planned. And with launching the business, the finances are stretched. The test. Probing my willingness to provide money before revealing the real demand. What business? I asked. Oh, VM? Wellness Ventures. We're investing in it together. Tyler is contributing capital, and I'm bringing the expertise and client base. It's going to be amazing, she lied smoothly. No mention that she was the sole owner. No mention of the offshore account. That sounds ambitious, I said carefully. It is, but we need proper funding. Her voice stayed light, but her eyes were calculating. I was wondering if you might help us get started. An investment from you would mean so much to Tyler. How much are we talking? She smiled. Well, we'd need about $200,000 for the first year. Marketing, office space, equipment, staffing. But it would be an investment, not a gift. You'd see returns. I'll need to see a complete business plan. Let me think about it. Her smile tightened. Not the answer she wanted, of course, but the engagement party is next week. Having your support confirmed would make Tyler so happy. Could we discuss a preliminary amount? Even $100,000 to start? Let's see how the party goes first, I said. Focus on celebrating your engagement. She left 10 minutes later, frustration barely concealed behind her smile. After her taillights disappeared, I sat in my dark office and played the recording. Every word was clear, all the manipulation captured, but it still wasn't enough. She hadn't revealed her true endgame yet. The engagement party was 6 days away. Whatever Vanessa really wanted, she'd ask for there, and I'd be ready. Saturday arrived with perfect May weather. I drove to the lake house at 4, watching sunlight dance on the water like scattered diamonds. The setup was impressive. A tent for 150 guests, a catering crew of 20, a live band setting up on the deck, probably $40,000 for one night. Tyler was financing his own destruction. Guests began arriving at 6. Tyler's friends from college, co-workers from his firm, people I recognized from various social circles. Everyone dressed for a luxury event. I saw Tyler greeting people near the entrance, looking happy but exhausted. He'd lost weight. Stress was visible in his face, in the way he kept checking his phone. Vanessa was holding court on the main deck, her engagement ring catching light with every gesture. She wore white, of course, positioning herself as the future bride. Her laugh carried across the water. Performative, brilliant, calculated. My phone buzzed. Upper deck, now. Come alone. I climbed the stairs to the private deck above, touching my pocket to confirm the recorder was there. The space was empty except for Vanessa standing near the railing, champagne in hand. The sun was setting behind her, painting the sky orange and red. I activated the recorder. The blue light blinked. Robert. Beautiful evening, isn't it? Her voice was different now. All business, no sweetness. It is. Tyler seems happy. She turned and smiled, but there was nothing warm in it. Let's talk about keeping him that way permanently. I waited. You're going to transfer $1.5 million to my account by Wednesday morning. Her tone was casual, like discussing the weather. Wire transfer. No checks, no delays. Vanessa, that's an absurd amount. Is it? She stepped closer. Because the alternative is, I tell everyone here, everyone Tyler knows, that you touched me inappropriately in your office last week, that you've been sending me inappropriate messages for months, that when I rejected you, you tried to destroy our relationship with fake financial reports. Ice flooded my veins, but I kept my face neutral. She continued, enjoying herself now. Who do you think they'll believe? A successful 63-year-old businessman, or a young woman in a white dress with tears in her eyes? Her voice dropped lower. I'll show them texts. I already have fake ones created. Screenshots of you asking me to meet secretly. Photos time-stamped of me crying outside your office. A therapist's note about my trauma from your advances. Tyler will never speak to you again. Your business reputation will be destroyed. Commercial contractors don't do well when the owner is accused of sexual misconduct. You'll lose clients, partnerships, everything. She paused, letting it land. Or you pay me $1.5 million, play the generous future father-in-law, and everyone stays happy. Your choice. You have 60 seconds to decide. The silence stretched. 3 seconds. 4. 5. I reached slowly into my pocket. Her eyes followed my hand, expecting agreement, maybe a phone to authorize the transfer. Instead, I pulled out the small recorder and held it up. The blue light was still on. Vanessa, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. Her face went pale. What is that? Every word since you started talking about $1.5 million. I pressed stop. The blue light went dark. All recorded. You can't do that. That's illegal. Give that to me. She lunged forward, grabbing for the device. I stepped back toward the stairs. Tennessee is a one-party consent state. Completely legal. You recorded me without permission. Her voice rose to a shriek. You set me up! I descended the stairs quickly toward the main deck. She followed, still trying to grab my arm. Robert, wait. Please. We can work this out. I didn't mean... The band had just finished a song. The main deck was packed with guests, conversations animated. I walked directly toward the sound system where the DJ was preparing for dancing. I need you to play this through your speakers. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Sir, the party schedule says. I handed him the recorder and a cable. Now. He looked confused but complied. Vanessa burst onto the deck, mascara starting to run, face contorted with panic. Tyler appeared from the bar area, expression confused. Dad? What's going on? What are you doing? The recording started. Vanessa's voice filled the lake house through crystal-clear speakers. You're going to transfer $1.5 million to my account by Wednesday morning. Every conversation stopped. 150 people froze mid-sentence. The recording continued. Her threat about the assault accusations, the fake messages, the therapist's note. Every calculated word captured perfectly. Who do you think they'll believe? A successful 63-year-old businessman, or a young woman in a white dress with tears in her eyes? Tyler stood paralyzed, his face shifting between disbelief, recognition, and horror. When the recording ended, the silence was absolute. Even the water lapping against the dock seemed to quiet. Vanessa staggered backward. That's edited. He manipulated the audio. Robert, how could you fabricate lies like this? I pulled out my phone, opened my email, and sent the original file to my lawyer, to Marcus, and to 4 other witnesses, all with metadata, all with timestamps. Unaltered. Tyler, I said quietly, there's much more you need to know, but not here. Tyler stared at his fiancée, then at me, his voice cracking. Tell me you faked that recording. Tell me this isn't real. Vanessa's mouth opened, but no convincing lie emerged. She'd built her con on manipulation, not truth. Without the leverage of false accusations, she had nothing. One of Tyler's college friends, standing near the front, called out, I heard what I heard. That woman just tried to extort $1.5 million from your father. Tyler turned to Vanessa, tears starting to form. Was any of it real? Did you ever actually love me? She couldn't answer. The truth was too ugly. Tyler looked at me, and for the first time in 2 months, he actually saw me. Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you. The engagement party dissolved within the hour. Guests departed in awkward clusters, whispering. The catering manager offered to end service early, no additional charges. Tyler and I sat on the lower deck while the last colors faded from the sky, watching the cleanup crews work in silence. You tried to tell me, Tyler said, his voice hollow. At dinner. On the phone. In all those texts I deleted. You were right about everything, and I called you controlling. I accused you of being jealous. You were manipulated by someone very good at it. That's not your fault. I lost everything. My savings. The loan. I put $100,000 into her fake company, Dad. $100,000 I don't have. I put my hand on his shoulder. Money can be replaced. You can't. That's all that matters. We sat in silence as the last guests drove away. Vanessa had disappeared the moment we reached shore, probably calling a lawyer, probably planning her next move. But that night, Tyler came home with me. We sat in my kitchen until 2 in the morning talking, not about Vanessa, but about grief, about Linda, about the years since her death and how we'd both been navigating loss alone, about how I'd buried myself in work and he'd armored himself against feeling anything too deeply, until someone like Vanessa saw the cracks and exploited them. The lawsuit Vanessa filed arrived 3 weeks later. Civil complaint, claims of entrapment, emotional distress, defamation, damages requested. $800,000. Her lawyer had crafted a narrative where I was the villain, a jealous, controlling father who had fabricated evidence to destroy his son's happiness. My lawyer, David Chen, reviewed the complaint in his office, making notes with red ink on every page. It's an aggressive move, but fundamentally flawed. We have the recording, we have metadata, we have testimony from 150 witnesses who were there. Can she win? David shook his head. Win? No. Make it expensive and annoying? Absolutely. Discovery will be invasive. Depositions. But we have something better. What? 2 hours later, I sat in David's conference room with a private investigator named Karen Torres. She'd been working the case for 2 weeks. The file she presented was 4 inches thick. Vanessa Mitchell, she began, has run this exact scheme 5 times in the past 7 years. She spread photographs across the table. This is Derek Sullivan, tech executive in Austin. Dated Vanessa in 2018. She claimed pregnancy, demanded money for medical care, and to go away quietly. He paid $90,000. She slid another photo. James Patterson, real estate investor in Birmingham. Same pattern, pregnancy scare. Paid $75,000 before she vanished. 2 more photos. Michael Bradley, Memphis, 2020, $60,000. Daniel Wright, Louisville, 2022, $100,000. All threatened with false accusations if they didn't pay. All chose to pay rather than fight. Karen looked at me directly. You're the first one who recorded her, the first one who fought back. These men are willing to testify if it helps stop her from doing this again. The trial date arrived in September. Davidson County Superior Court. I sat beside David at the defense table, watching Vanessa's lawyer organize papers with practiced confidence. Tyler sat in the gallery behind me. He'd spent the last 4 months rebuilding. Therapy twice a week, working extra projects to pay down the loan, slowly recovering financially. But the damage Vanessa had caused was still visible in his cautious movements, his quiet voice. Judge Morrison, a sharp-eyed woman in her late 50s, with zero patience for frivolous lawsuits, presided. Vanessa took the stand first, delivering a prepared narrative with practiced sincerity. She'd fallen for Tyler and was excited to join his family. But Robert had been hostile from the first meeting, investigating her background without permission, then recording a private conversation where she'd been joking badly about needing financial help. He played that recording at our engagement party in front of 150 people, she said, tears forming. He destroyed everything. Tyler lost money. I lost my reputation. All because Robert couldn't accept that someone loved his son. David didn't cross-examine aggressively. He asked 3 simple questions. Miss Mitchell, how many men have you dated in the past 7 years who were significantly older and financially stable? Vanessa hesitated. I don't see how that's relevant. Your Honor, David said, this will become extremely relevant. Then David began his case. Your Honor, this isn't about a father's jealousy. This is about a documented predator who has executed this exact scheme with at least 5 previous victims. He presented the forensic audio analysis first. Expert testimony confirmed the recording from the lake house was authentic, unedited, with verified timestamps. Vanessa's lawyer objected repeatedly. Judge Morrison overruled every time. Next came the financial evidence. Vanessa's credit report showing $78,000 in debt. Eviction records. The LLC registration showing her as sole owner despite telling Tyler they were partners. The offshore account in the Bahamas. Then David called Derek Sullivan to the stand. A man in his early 40s entered. Expensive suit, successful, but with visible shame. He didn't look at Vanessa. "Mr. Sullivan, how do you know the plaintiff? I dated her for 7 months in 2018. His voice was quiet. It ended when she told me she was pregnant, said it was mine. Then she needed $90,000 for medical care and to start over somewhere else. Said if I didn't pay, she'd tell my ex-wife during our custody battle, accuse me of things that never happened. What did you do? I paid. He presented bank records, text messages where Vanessa explicitly demanded money. 3 weeks after I paid, she texted saying she'd had a miscarriage. Then she disappeared, changed her number, moved away, gone. The courtroom went silent. Tyler made a small sound behind me. David continued methodically. James Patterson testified next. Then Michael Bradley. Each told the same story. Pregnancy scare or assault threat. Demand for money. Payment. Disappearance. 5 men. $325,000 extracted through blackmail. Judge Morrison's face darkened with each testimony. When the last victim finished, she looked directly at Vanessa. "Miss Mitchell, these testimonies present a clear pattern of fraudulent behavior." Vanessa stood abruptly. "Those men are lying. This is a conspiracy. Robert paid them all to make up stories. This is—" "Miss Mitchell, sit down." The judge's voice remained steady. "Your claim that Mr. Callahan recorded you illegally is incorrect. Tennessee is a one-party consent state. Your claim of emotional distress is undermined by evidence that you attempted to extort $1.5 million. Your credibility is destroyed by 5 previous victims with documented evidence of identical schemes." She paused. "This lawsuit is dismissed with prejudice. Furthermore, Miss Mitchell, you are ordered to pay the defendant's legal costs, totaling $87,000. I am also referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for investigation of fraud, extortion, and criminal conspiracy charges." The gavel fell like thunder. I walked out of the courthouse into the humid September afternoon, loosening my tie. David was satisfied. Morrison doesn't make DA referrals lightly. Vanessa is facing criminal charges now, real consequences. I saw Tyler standing alone by the fountain outside the courthouse. He looked different. Older, sadder, but somehow clearer. "Dad," he said as I approached, "the things those men said, the pattern. She researched me before we even met, didn't she? Knew exactly who I was, knew about you, knew about the company." "I believe so, son." "I'm sorry you had to hear it like that." Tyler's voice cracked. "I accused my own father. I chose her over you. I believed every lie she told me, and still you're here. Still you fought for me. You're my son. I would do it again every single time." We stood there in the Tennessee heat, father and son, finding our way back to each other. 3 months later, Tyler moved back to his own apartment. He'd paid off the loan and was slowly rebuilding his savings. He started dating again, carefully this time. The trauma would take time, but he was healing. As for me, I found something unexpected. Karen Torres, the investigator who built the case against Vanessa, called one evening. "This isn't about work, just wanted to talk." She'd lost her younger brother to a similar con artist 10 years ago. He'd taken his own life after losing everything to a woman who'd manipulated him. That's why Karen became an investigator, to stop people like Vanessa before they destroyed more lives. We met for coffee, then dinner. It became something neither of us had been looking for, but both of us needed. On a cool November evening, Tyler joined Karen and me for dinner at my house, the same dining room where I'd first met Vanessa. But this time, everything felt different, genuine, real. "I want to make a toast," Tyler said, raising his glass. "To Dad, for not giving up on me when I gave up on you, for standing between me and disaster, even when I hated you for it. That's not control. That's love." My throat tightened. "You're my son, That's what fathers do, Tyler continued. And for teaching me that real love sometimes means saying hard truths, being patient when everything tells you to walk away, fighting for people even when they can't see the danger themselves. We touched glasses, and I looked around the table, my son, healthy and learning, a woman beside me who understood loss and resilience, a future built not on revenge, but on protecting what matters most. The last I heard, Vanessa was arrested in Georgia 6 weeks after the trial. She'd been running the same con on a businessman in Savannah, but this time police were already watching. The charges included fraud, extortion, and crossing state lines to commit wire fraud. Federal charges. She was facing 8 to 12 years. Part of me wanted to feel satisfaction, but mostly, I just wanted her gone from our lives. Because the real victory wasn't destroying her. It was this: Tyler safe, my family whole. And learning that sometimes protecting someone you love means standing firm when the whole world tells you to walk away. That's what parents do. That's what love means. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Click the video on the left to hear another story. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the greatest act of love is refusing to let go, even when you're pushed away.